On this video after close of trade, Tuesday 13th March 2012. Well, what a day. We closed up at 1390. I think it was up about 24 points. Top to bottom range during the day was about 20 points, about 1.8 million contracts traded. And I think it just goes to show that people have totally underestimated the strength in this market. We've not seen enough kind of topping out activity. Yeah, we've been seeing no demand, but we haven't seen kind of the exhaustion buying that would lead to a topping out pattern. And Tuesday's activity, the sell-off last Tuesday, was just an opportunity for the professionals to kind of pick it up. So we had the left shoulder marked by the 45-minute chart, end of trend. Then we got, support came in, pull back in an uptrend on the 135-minute chart. Bang, we had end of trend kind of go off, but we've kind of moved through there with today. And if you look at the exhaustion patterns, there's nothing to signal a top. Yes, today's activity is pretty high. In terms of better momentum, might be exhaustion buying signal up here, kind of finally, to mirror some kind of this exhaustion selling signals that we've had, forming this bottom late last year. So we had exhaustion selling, bullish divergence and flush patterns with all these professionals kind of spiked down bars here. We test it with a flush pattern into a Rambo pattern here, have a little bit of congestion, Rambo to Rambo, kind of congestion zone here, find support, and we break into this strong uptrend kind of mid-December. And so finally with this better momentum reading, it's pretty good. And blue professional bar on the upside. This was the Tuesday where we had blue professional bar. They were just picking it up there. So finally a little bit of profit taking by the professionals on a professional up bar. This looks like this might be a fairly big reading, might be a better an exhaustion signal when we see tomorrow's activity, see what happens there. But I think everyone's been underestimating the strength in this market. In terms of better X trend, it's been keeping in this trend the whole way. That was the Tuesday sell-off there, and it's just been kind of moving up. So now we're up to 1360, kind of critical level, the low of today's activity kind of going forward. So let's see if we do find some topping out activity after today's kind of exhaustion buying. Now, we had FOMC this afternoon. And I've not read any of the commentary on the announcements and so on, but it's clear from the charts that the really interesting move has been on rates. And I've been talking about this since the beginning of the year, that I think the story for this year might be a change in rates and a rise in rates. So and we've finally got a breakthrough. We had a little bit of strength yesterday. It was a nice little bar, just looking for a breakout in these rates charts. This is the 10-year chart. You can see we've just broken above cyclical resistance. I just used better sine wave on the interest rate charts here. Yesterday we didn't sell off on rates. We had a little bit of strength in rates, just looking for that breakout above that resistance level. If you go to the 5-year chart, again, strong chart here. We've got support kind of coming a few days ago. And this is the 30-year chart. Again, same thing as the 10-year. But a strength yesterday, just waiting for that breakout. And what that means is that bonds are going down and rates are going up. So money kind of moving out of bonds and moving, has been driving the strength in equities. That could get a continuation of that. When you look at the bond charts, this is the 10-year bond chart. We've now broken through support here. Yesterday we had a lot of little amateur bars that were kind of going in the wrong direction. They've been wrong-footed. Saw that on the equities charts and on these charts. So the amateurs were buying a little bit of strength in the bonds. Today they got wrong-footed. We've broken below that and below critical support here. So I think we've actually just broken into a downtrend. So it's an important move. It's taken a while to kind of top out. End of trend, exhaustion buying, bearish divergence, now broken through support. I think the trend move now will start off in the bond contracts. It's not going to be a straight line down, but it's an important day. On the 5-year chart, same thing. We kind of topped out, exhaustion buying, bearish divergence, flush signal here. Blue professional bars, the highs of that move, we kind of moved down. Had a little bit of strength yesterday, although it did close on the lows, and then today's activity, bang, kind of sold off. In the 30-year, same thing. So we've had this kind of exhaustion buying signal here. Blue professional bars, last time we came into a cyclical resistance here. Amateurs kind of trying to buy some strength in bonds yesterday and today, bang, wrong-footed. We've fallen through support, so I really think it's an important kind of day in terms of the bond markets. And then when we look at, there's a decoupling going on because the dollar index, normally we'd see kind of risk on, risk off. So with the bonds going down, we'd see normally dollar index going down and all the money rushing into risk on. But we've got decoupling because the dollar index is actually going up. So again, yesterday's little amateur down bar and now closed above the high of that. The amateur's kind of getting wrong-footed, trying to sell yesterday, and it's kind of gone the other way. And you can see that on so gold and silver, and the currencies. So because the dollar is negative correlated with the gold is negatively correlated with the dollar. It's anti-dollar. So if the dollar's going up, we've got gold going down. So now we've got gold kind of coming, testing the support, the breakout level that was support, exhaustion selling kind of down here. So we've got continuation through these kind of professional bars, and we were saying, well, we need this to hold around this level. So now at this level in gold, are we actually seeing that we've got a decoupling going on? We've got money running into or profit-taking money running into equities, but certainly out of bonds with rates kind of going up, and then dollar indexes, and then gold and silver are going to come off. So if we kind of keep on going, we can see a continuation of gold selling off here. Silver, again, jury's out a little bit here. We've got this support level just above 32 that's absolutely critical. We found exhaustion selling at this point. Was blue professional down bar, but we've continued on through the lows of that blue professional bar. So maybe we've not seen enough kind of bottoming activity to form a bottom and for rallies in silver and gold. And then euros, so again, another of these little amateur up bars, just getting wrong-footed, bang, going the other way on the euro. So the euro's kind of going down. And Aussie's a little bit stronger. So Aussie, we had Rambo pattern yesterday, and we've got cyclical support kind of due on the Aussie dollar. We've had exhaustion selling at this point, so we might find support, this kind of breakout level. But risk on charts, still got a little bit of strength. So copper's kind of gone up, crude's hanging around this level. So an interesting day, but we could be seeing this kind of decoupling going on between the bonds and dollar index. Then in terms of equities, 40,500 tip bar chart. So this was the Tuesday sell-off, exhaustion, selling, bullish divergence kind of come in. We've rallied strongly since then. Had a flush pattern here. This wasn't exhaustion buying with today's activity. So we need a stronger reading on the upside in order to signal that exhaustion buying. And on the 13,500 tip bar chart, again, pullback. This was yesterday's activity. Yesterday was incredibly boring, but we did find support, exhaustion, selling, bullish divergence kind of comes in, and we've rallied from there, and we've not seen exhaustion buying on the upside kind of yet. With today's activity, I made 3 points, and it looks incredibly dull and boring compared to what happened with the day's trade. I had a small short for a quarter point at the beginning of the day, kind of reversed and went long at 72 even. Took a long trade here based on the exhaustion, selling and bullish divergence. First bullish divergence pattern that came in here at this end of trend. So I was long at 72 and then out at 74, 75 for 3 points kind of total, just as I saw that pro signal exit kind of come in here. But and there was a lot of volume kind of going through, a lot of blue professional bars kind of going through there. It was actually, in retrospect, when you look back, it was just kind of acquiring and just eating up all of that supply that was kind of coming in, and the market kind of kept on going. So we had one initial kind of sequence. We'd had our exhaustion buying, bearish divergence, and so pull back to end of trend. That ought to have been a good signal, and we did get a sell-off from there. But look at, it was the amateurs kind of driving down that sell-off Rambo patterns each time, kind of finding those lows, and then we took off again after finding support, FOMC announcements and so on into new highs here at 1390. And so now we've had exhaustion buying signals, pull back to end of trend. We've come off from those levels. So we've run pretty hard today, so I'm sure we'll have some kind of weakness first thing tomorrow, but it's kind of a bigger pattern in terms of playing out what's going on. So going to be looking at the bond market tomorrow really closely, and what if we get kind of continuation and strength in the US dollar index, and look and see what impact that decoupling has. I'll tag on my day trade, but again, in retrospect, pulling out 3 points out of a 20-point day was a very ordinary activity. So just for interest's sake, anyway. Hope you traded well today. Reverse went long 72 even. Reverse went long 72 even. And bullish divergence came in. Just check my stops and targets here. Bullish divergence came in on 500 tip bar charts. This end of trend kind of held, and this should be cyclical support now on 4500 tip bar chart, pullback in an uptrend. So it looks like that was maybe enough on the upside, on the downside here. A little pullback to end of trend here. We'll go for a little bit of a run for the upside. So just quarter point on that first trade. So let's see where this long 72 even goes. Okay, a short while later, kind of tested down. Blue professional bars kind of come in here on 1500 tip bar chart and 500. A little rainbow pattern support kind of comes in, so this kind of support levels holding on 15. So a little bit of double bottom here, pullbacks holding here. So we're coming back up. So 72 is not the best place to kind of get in, but it's just doing on a reversal trade. So this bit of a test down is kind of good. So hopefully we'll come back up through 72 and get kind of confirmation that this is pullback to end of trend now on the way up on 45. So let's see. I'm still trying to break through 72. Had a couple of goes at it, get rejected each time, but it seems like we're building up some energy to get through this resistance level on 500. So break above that would be nice into maybe a trend move up. Just hoping this pullback, playing this kind of pullback to end of trend, that would be a nice sequence on. We're coming down again. But, you know, no clues in terms of amateur or professional bars kind of in this sequence here, so just got to go from what the last thing the professionals were doing, so still holding. Well, finally we were through there to 72.5. Someone does not want us to get through 72 here. Huge amount of supply kind of coming in. It's really not odd, but there was a lot going through that, so, you know, was that just trying to push it down or just freak people out so that they could get better positions for a breakout? There's a rainbow pattern kind of breakout, so let's wait and see. It's broke to 72.5. I thought at that level it should just kind of start to take off above resistance on 500, starting to break out 1500. Just quite odd there, so I'm just watching it. Well, finally a little bit of fireworks up to 73. There's a lot of supply coming through. It's finding it really tough to get back up here. So, we're broken above resistance on the 500. This should run to pull back to end of trend, maybe kind of syncing up with an end of trend on the 4500 tip bar chart. Kind of cyclical resistance. But, it's just, the amount of overhead supply is just, seems really big numbers kind of going through. Anyway, so keep holding. No blue professional bars kind of yet. Just hoping for just continuation, I suppose. So it's good. 73.5. Target is 74.75. That pro signal exit here. Go off 1500 tip bar chart. Bunch of blue professional bars. Kind of here. Just we went up to 50 there. Just need to push through there. Just get taken out at 75. Just be done with this. Out a little bit early, I know, but it is pro signal exit, kind of around here, so let's just hope. Just out 74.75. That was hard work. It was a lot of supply kind of coming through there, so that's for 2 3/4 with the quarter point on the first trade that gives me 3. Going to stop there. The bearish diversions come in, rainbow pattern into blue professional bar. Sometimes that shows just profit taking right there. It's a little bit of weakness kind of coming in with the rainbow pattern, then followed up by blue professional bar, kind of profit taking there. I can't decide whether I think this thing's going to break out into a serious uptrend, or we've got so much supply kind of coming through that we'll just kind of top out here at the end of trend and go the other way. So, I'm glad I pulled in my target, because not sure it's going to go to 76. Finding it very difficult to get through here, but anyway, what is it, 9:45 AM, that's good to be out. So, hope you traded well today.